Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our viewers, and welcome to another faith-led leadership inspired podcast of Lead Integrity. We are delighted to have with us Ms. Debra Boudreaux, who I've known for many years now and who has been one of the most remarkable faith-inspired women leaders in the circle of trust that I was blessed to be able to put together when I served at the United Nations um, within the framework of both the United Nations Interagency Task Force on Religion and Development and its Multi-Faith Advisory Council, of which Debra served as a chair and a co-chair. But Debra has been instructive in so many ways to those of us who have had the privilege of working with her, because she acts as she speaks. It is not that there are separate persona. And she's also very special for reasons you will know as we get to have the pleasure of discussing with her today. What faith inspired leadership means to her. What does she do? Who is Debra Boudreaux? Debra, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Azza, to give me the opportunity. This is a wonderful moment for we all need to have a faith to guiding us. And I'm I'm a Buddhist, but really inspire me to be more trustworthy one is my mom. My mom always guiding us when we are young. From Asian, we go to temple to pray, to ask for Buddha blessing, for good fortune, good life, good education, good family, good marriage. So that kind of education. But when I was graduate from the university, I come to United States and for my master degree in journalism. One day, my mom just asked me, "You've been so busy doing so many volunteer works. There's a Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation. They do a lot of good work. Can you consider to become their volunteers?" And I just say, okay, because mama say. So I just trying to knocking the door for Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation. And at that time, I have a big question marks. I say who they are, what are they doing? So I'm just, that time not balanced. I just curiosity. And I knocking the door and they welcome me, greeting me. And since then, 1989, I become a volunteer for Buddha Tzu Chi Foundation. So at that time, I realized Buddhism is not just going to temple to light up the incense and to ask for blessing. Buddhism can be more than that. So very quickly, 20 seconds introduction about who I am and why I become such a believer for Buddhism.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Um, Deborah, maybe you could give us a bit more of an idea about Tzu Chi, where it originated, how it is inspired, and maybe just a little bit more about what it does that you are so committed to. Because I know this because I know you, but I think people who are meeting you, so to speak, for the first time would also be very inspired to hear about Tzu Chi's record, its work, etc. So maybe just tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Um, Buddha Tzu Chi Foundation, the founder is Dharma Master Zheng Yan. She is close to 89 now. And when she was young, she searching her future. One day, her father passed away, and she started to wondering, what is life? What kind of meaning for human being? So she started to look around the faith empowerment. So Dharma Master Zheng Yan started Buddha Tzu Chi Foundation in 1966 in Hualien, a small, very remote village area. And at that time, because she practiced Buddhism, and 3 nuns, Catholic nuns, pay a visit to her and ask her, you staying in this such a remote village and you are trying to helping people. Would you like to join with us to join the sister from the Catholic to deliver the love and care? And she started to wondering if the sister can do the loving care to the community, how about Buddhism also can devote it the same compassion? So for Dhamma Master Zheng Yan, she started to think about faith is expressed as a deep trust in Dhamma and human goodness. So she often teaches that with faith vows and action, vows, faith, action, nothing is impossible. And this kind of power coming from the Catholic nuns. So faith is therefore active, and she calls leader to vow to serve all beings and to act with perseverance, even in crisis. So she teaching compassion is not sympathy, but the courage of relief suffering. So that's elevates Buddha's leadership from passive kindness to active responsibility. And from day one until now, the compassion is universal and without borders. So no matter what kind of religions, cultural, Bodhisattva path is with us every day. So she always constantly remind me and remind everyone, do not underestimate yourself. Everyone can be a bodhisattva. So this kind of concept really driving us every day, how to find the resources and direct those resources to the vulnerable. So this kind of sense of responsibility and leader should have empower ourselves. But that kind of trust and selfishness giving is the key success. So for so many years, Tzu Chi had 4 major missions: charity, medical, education, humanitarian work. And then from these 4 major missions expanded to international disaster relief, mirror donor registry, environmental wellness, and community volunteers. So you can see this kind of program embedded with daily lives. So Tzu Chi has been in USA, started in 1984, and I joined with Tzu Chi in 1989. So for so many years, I witnessed when there's a disaster happen. Because she always tell us, do not underestimate yourself. Everyone can be a bodhisattva. So we started to reach out to the community. We are not professional, but we are so-called subject matter expert humanitarian relief responder. So with the compassion, respect, gratitude, and love, started from, I remember when there's an aviation disaster crisis, Singapore airline crashed in Los Angeles. And at that time, American Red Cross, I'm part of the volunteers of American Red Cross. They call me. They say, Debra, there's a group of impact passengers. They are Asian oriented. We have cultural diversity assistant consideration. Can you help to comforting those family members? So at that time, we opened the door for disaster response. And we started to working with American Red Cross, started from Singapore airline aviation crashed, and then to September 11, and then also to Katrina. This year is Katrina 20 years. So every single disaster, you can see Tzu Chi volunteers wearing blue and white uniform going to the community. And very funny is when we go into that community to provide services, we did not identify our faith belief. People only recognize blue and white angel. So they recognize us as an angel, not a Buddhist practitioners. So one time when disaster strike and the situation is very chaotic, and our volunteer think about everybody need to have a peaceful mind. So they invite everybody to pray, to chanting. And people started to wondering why we have to pray, why we have to chanting. And then volunteers share with them, chanting and pray can bring you peacefulness, can ease you anxiety, especially when you try to get support from various agency who is tied up for another situation and challenges. So we started to mobilize whenever the disaster settle, and we try to establish the long-term recovery to provide assistance. And we ask everyone, let's spend a couple minutes to give yourself a quiet moment, a space to reflect what you've been going through, went through, and gone through. So, what is in your mind? So, this kind of spiritual collaboration and give them the space started love and care for all. And it started to be recognized. And the other thing is because of the Dhamma Master, when three Catholic sister approached her regarding about providing care to the community, she realized you can give food, you can give clothing, but when people suffering, facing the disasters, they need to have sense of protection, safety, and secureness. So Tzu Chi established cash for relief assistance. So we provide cash card, give them cash. So when people holding that cash, check, cash card, they feel like they have empowered something after they lost during the disasters. So we can see the smile, the confidence, and that kind of supportive feeling empower them. So Tzu Chi started to roll out cash flow assistance in the United States and expanded to all over the world. And when we do this disaster response during the shelter site, we composed, we used so many plastic bottles and styrofoam. And Dhamma Master just wondering, this is not the right way. We deliver the loving care for the vulnerable or impact residents, but we also create another drama for Mother Earth because we see the Mother Earth is suffering. So she, 35 years ago, this year is 35 years ago, she, during a speech, she said, how about let's use our two hands? Always you do two hands for clapping someone, say how good you are, you praise what you have been doing. Let's use these two hands to pick up the litters, the trash, turn those trash, those litter, those plastic into more useful recycling materials. So she mobilized a group of entrepreneurs, textile company, and asked them, can you look into it, do some research? Can we turn those plastic bottles into more useful materials goods? So that time she has a very strong slogan saying, turn the trash into gold, turn the gold into love, turn the love to wrapping around the vulnerable population, vulnerable residents. So we started to have the circular economy, and we have so-called a blanket. And that's Dhamma Master Zheng Yan. She has such a profound wisdom and mindfulness in all the action. So she always emphasized the practice of purifying the heart. and reduce our desire and acting with wisdom. So this kind of meaning, leading with clarity of mind and free from greed, anger, and ignorance. So through this kind of mindfulness and reflections, she encouraged us to make just the balance point and compassionate decision. And that decision can be benefit to the greater in the whole community. So she visioned the universe, the community is one family under one sky. And this kind of teaching echoes to Buddhist interdependence. She encouraged everyone must see beyond the visions and recognizing that suffering and joy are shared. It's a token with two sides. So integrity and faith inspire every one of us. And how we going to fostering the unity, cooperation, and interfaith solidarity to face the global challenges together. So that's why she's been teaching us for so many years. And this kind of compassionate decision making is not just the Buddhist. She say, as a leader, we guide by compassion. We have to prioritizing who is our target audience, the vulnerable. So this kind of selfless services is the Bodhisattva path. And this Bodhisattva path leading by serving, not dominating. So this kind of mindfulness presence, she always telling us, practicing mindfulness to lead with clarity and not reactivity. So every single moment we practice that. So she always have a very strong verb, say, be mindfulness. Whenever you do something, say something. Even when you are walking on the ground, there's so many lives under your shoes, how you can walk softly, gently to coexist with them. So this kind of faith in human potential thinking, inspiring followers like me to see our own inner capacity for goodness and transformation. So Tzu Chi is practice the Buddhism in daily life. And she teaching us Buddhism is a daily practitioners and practice by your heart and from your mindfulness and with your faith, vows, and put into actions.
Wow, that is a lot of very wonderful, wonderful information, reflection, guidance. You've pretty much answered most of the questions I had even before I asked them. A few things to just ask you to unpack, if you don't mind. You mentioned that people see you as the blue and white angels in humanitarian, when you're providing humanitarian relief, people see you as the blue and white angels. They don't see you as a Buddhist practitioner. At the same time, there's the chanting that helps center and bring in the spiritual. So is there not a connection, therefore, between, even though you're blue and white angels, but you're still very much Buddhist, ergo the chanting and the spiritual work, if you will. So they will see you eventually, obviously, as Buddhist spiritual people.
Yeah, that's a very good question. For the past 10 years, I believe, Tzu Chi has been formed a Buddhist Tzu Chi Buddhism. This Tzu Chi Buddhism is, we always call thinking outside the box. When the traditional Buddhism, we go to temple, we go to chanting, we practice sutra, and Tzu Chi Buddhism is going to the community to reach out to the vulnerable. So now when we're reflecting 2,500 years ago and now, one is traditional Buddhism, now is Buddhist in action.
Mm-hmm.
So this is two different areas. And I'm always, because now every day we say we have to have a sustainability, we have to bring in more young generation to join our Buddhist practice. And the young generation, they have no idea what is Dhamma,
Mm-hmm.
why we have to chanting sutra.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, Dhamma Master started to think about use the sign language
Mm-hmm.
and use the musical chanting, and also to orchestra the practice for Sutra, Buddha, Dhamma into more user-friendly. So we started to have Buddhism, so-called stage play. So everybody memorized sutra through musical chanting
Mm-hmm.
and along with the sign language. So the young generation, they don't read Chinese. They cannot understand what is that profound meaning of the sutra, infinitive meaning. So people started thinking, we have to translate into what is the sentence meaning. So we spend a lot of effort for chanting, for sutra chanting to do translation. But honestly, when we do that, we realize we lost the original core value.
Mm-hmm.
We lost. And the young generation, they only pay attention to the meaning, but they cannot feel what is the Dharma, that kind of really meaningful. So we started to look back. Let's keep the original sutra chanting. That's the way to bring the young generation, the future leaders, to understand what is the core value for the sutra. So that's what we are practicing right now internally for young generation. For the community, we also reach out to them. We sing Hallelujah. We sing different religious prayer song. Everybody respect that religious. We follow their original soundtrack. So we started to think about how about introduce Tzu Chi Buddhism to the original sutra chanting soundtrack. And it works. People feel like curiosity, and they also feel like peace. And they also feel like, I'm really engaged and interact with Buddhism. So that kind of core value really keep resilience through the great vows. That kind of core value really tied up. So when we go out now for spiritual, mental well-being, we give them love and care. Use very soft Buddhist sutra music to bring people, like a sitting meditation, walking meditation, to bring them a peaceful mind. And if they are more interesting about what is Dhamma Sutra infinitive meanings, then we invite them to join. And Dhamma Master, she is very against light up incense, because she say that is another create hurting to Mother Earth. So she always say, it's from your heart. With your sincere heart, with two hands in front of your heart, you bring the peace, you bring the prayer, you bring the blessings to the community, to the people you serve. It's from your heart, your trust, your engagement. So chanting is most important, is that people understand what is Buddhism, what kind of chanting, Namo Amitofo, blessing all for a better, secure, peaceful mind, and Wuliang so forth, give people more prolonged longevity, harmonia, peaceful society. So there's a lot of different way for chanting, but the whole conversation is compassion in humanitarian. And that kind of interfaith collaboration is the key that we want to build it up confidence in truth, truth in faith, and shine on world. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was a very, I think, elaborate and deep explanation, also of how you engage the youth and adjust to what would make the requirements of the religion's spirituality and their own, if you will, frame, attention, context, and so on. Very helpful to hear. I think one of my last questions will have to do about with the issues of working interfaith, because I know that you, Deborah, are very heavily vested in interfaith work. You were one of the first people to be invited by me to serve on the Multi-Faith Advisory Council to represent Buddhist Tzu Chi. And you have been very active as a leader in that space. So maybe a few thoughts, if you don't mind, but two different kinds of thoughts. One is what Tzu Chi, how Tzu Chi perceives interfaith work and engagement, and how Deborah also contributes in that space.
Thank you. Buddha Tzu Chi to join the interfaith collaboration partnership. The whole concept is we want to be on the table. We want to be heard, and we want to participate. This is Dharma Master Zheng Yan's teaching. We cannot practice Buddhism silo. We cannot. We have to work with the community. And the community is interfaith related. And when Jesus Christ, Catholic, Buddhist, when we talk about love, it's all pretty much fundamental, started from your heart. So we all started from the same principle, love and care for all. And this love is unconditional and boundless compassion. So everyone started from the love. And we respect each other's for life, for dignity, and Tzu Chi is for the environment. I think Catholic, Jesus, or Judaism or Muslim, we all respect. And with gratitude to all the condition and people and all form of lives. So this interfaith for Tzu Chi is really want to be part of the table to share. And the most important would like to share is, besides the Buddhist in action, how can we put compassion in action? This should be side by side, faith in actions. And this kind of action can be integrated with innovation and creation. And this innovation creation started from our neighborhood. So Tzu Chi would like to share so-called know-how and so-called toolkits to establish everyone, be ready when now we talk about climate crisis, when something happened, faith leaders, interfaith leaders, we can provide a tool, a know-how to lead our community, to balance our community, to share with our community. So that's the Tzu Chi really would like to use so-called wisdom and mindfulness to guide everybody, to share with everybody. And through this kind of wisdom, we usually is very simplicity and humanity. When we talk about simplicity and humanity, is living lightly. We don't ask for too much for ourselves, but we serving deeply from our heart. So this kind of universal responsibility leading us to acting for the benefit of the humanity and to treat all beings. So this is what Dharma Master Zeng Yan would like to remind everybody, reflect to what is our root cause, how everyone as people, we come to this universe. And this universe is trying to benefit all the humanity and all beings. And for myself, honestly, I'm learning. I joined Tzu Chi is from compassion. Compassion leading me to join this Buddhism. So through the compassion, I practice Buddhism. So I would like to share with people how an ordinary people with a compassion in action, we can be more put into action to care for our community. So this is really the key to drive me to continue every day. I'm always joking now, I have DNA of Tzu Chi. So this kind of Buddhist context, live with gratitude, act with compassion, and lead with wisdom, grounded in vows, carry out in action, and dedicate to all elevating suffering everywhere. So this kind of motivation really driving me. And honestly, interfaith, multi-faith advisory council, everyone is my teacher. Everyone is my mentors. Every time I participate in a meeting, I learn so many things from everyone. But at the same time, bilateralism, I also share some of my thoughts and also let them observe why Buddhism doing this way and open a dialogue and conversation to deeply establish what would be the best way to serve the community we are living right now, the community for our future generations.
Beautiful. Thank you very, very much. Do you foresee that the commitment to the interfaith work is something that Tzu Chi would do, even if it wasn't through you, even if it was other? Are there others in Tzu Chi who are just as committed and passionate about this interfaith space as yourself? Or is this very, very much something you are stewarding and driving because of your very firm belief and conviction?
This is a very good question. I'm very happy you brought it up. This is not an easy task. When we talk about multi-faith advisory council, we have so many subcommittee, we have so many meetings. As a faith-based organization, volunteer-based organization, it's tough to balance and justify the time and the commitment for the giving. Yes, we do have some people like me to continue to carry on, but it's also a challenge is how we going to continue to convince the elder and the Dharma practitioners. You have to go into the community to really witness and interact with so-called key prayers on the table. And no competition, no argument, and everybody living peacefully. This is the Buddha's teaching. This is the Buddha's practice. We are still continuing. We have a successional plan. We have young leaders training. We have up to the elder, down to the younger. We need to become a bridge and facilitator to bring everybody on the table. And I'm very grateful in New York, we have such a wonderful young leader teams. Now in Southeast Asia, I just come back from Singapore, more than 30 some Buddhist practitioners age group is under 30. They vow to become a Buddhist practitioner. So slowly I can see this kind of intergeneration integration to carry out Tzu Chi Buddhism. There's a hope, there's a future, and there's a very clear goal in place.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed, Deborah. This was such a rich, fulfilling conversation. Thank you very much for the work you do. Thank you very much for the leadership of Tzu Chi, but also for your leadership in Tzu Chi and for your leadership in the interfaith space. I am one of those who can vouch for how incredibly valuable your insights and overall your absolutely dedicated commitment to serving in these spaces, in the humanitarian and the interfaith engagement spaces. Has been, is, and I'm sure will continue to be. And I wish you very, very much all the best and strength and a long life of commitment and dedication so that we can continue to learn, all of us, from you and from your very important work. Thank you very much, Deborah.